If you want to find out who's racist, all you got to do is just wait for them to open their mouth. That is Alabama U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville, who continues to stand up for white nationalists, calling them Americans. Now, Tuberville, who's intentionally blocking military promotions over a Pentagon policy granting leave for active duty service members seeking reproductive health care, says America needs white nationalists in the military. And he thinks classifying white nationalists as racist, well, that's just your dadgum opinion. Watch this.
We're showing our adversaries we're weak. All we got to do is go back and look at Joe Biden's, what he's done to our military with the woke ideas, with the CRT that we're teaching in our military. We are losing in the military so fast, our readiness in terms of recruitment. And why? I can tell you why. Because the Democrats are attacking our military, saying we need to get out the white extremists, the white nationalists, people that don't believe in our agenda as his Joe Biden agenda. They're destroying it. This year, we will not reach any recruiting goals in the military. So if we want to talk about looking weak, that's where we're going to look weak. We cannot start putting rules in there for one type, one group, and make different factions in the military, because that is the most important institution in the United States of America and our allies, is a strong, hard-nosed killing machine, which is called our military.
You mentioned the Biden administration trying to prevent white nationalists from being in the military. Do you believe they should allow white nationalists in the military?
Well, they call them that. I call them Americans. What happened after January the 6th, and I was here on January the 6th, we were attacked on the Senate floor saying that all these people that came into the Capitol were extremists. They were against the country. There was a lot of people, there was probably 100 of them that came in, broke windows and broke doors that should have been locked up. That's not how we do it in America, but there were hundreds of thousands that didn't come in outside that were true Americans that believe in this country.
Well, that's what they called them. Well, that was May 10th. This was the other day on CNN, and the idiot, still an idiot.
I do want to give you a chance to clarify some comments you made recently on white nationalists serving in the military. For those who are watching, if they haven't heard your remarks, this is what you said.
Do you believe they should allow white nationalists in the military?
Well, they call them that. I call them Americans.
Do you want to explain those comments, Senator?
Yeah, first of all, I'm totally against any type of racism, okay? I was a football coach for 40 years, and I dealt and had opportunity to be around more minorities than anybody up here on this hill. But when our military has been attacked, was being attacked after 9/11, after January the 6th, and that was my first day on the
because he was a football coach, he been around more minorities on the Hill. I think it's some black people who represent black people who might take exception to that dumbass comment. But then again, we are talking about a fool. Press play.
Floor. I thought it was outrageous of what senators from the Democratic side, Chuck Schumer, said on the floor that night, calling out people, calling people racist, calling people nationalists, white nationalists. White nationalists is just another word that they want to use other than racism. I'm totally against anything to do with racism. But the thing about being a white nationalist is just a cover word for the Democrats now, where they can use it to try to make people mad across the country, identity politics. I'm totally against that. But I'm for the American people. I'm for military. I'm for Christian conservatives, Democrats, whoever wants to be in the military to fight for this country, to protect this country. That's what it's all about.
But just to be clear, you agree that white nationalists should not be serving in the U.S. military. Is that what you're saying?
If people think that a white nationalist is a racist, I agree with that. I agree they should.
A white nationalist is someone who believes that the white race is superior to other races.
Well, that's some people's opinion. And I don't think,
That's
I mean,
not an opinion.
Pardon?
What's your opinion?
my opinion of a white nationalist, if somebody wants to call him white nationalist, to me is an American. It's an American. Now, if that white nationalist is a racist, I'm totally against anything that they want to do because I am 110% against racism. But I want somebody that's in our military, that's strong, that believes in this country, that's an American that will fight along anybody, whether it's a man or woman, black or white, red, it doesn't make any difference. And so I'm totally against identity politics. I think it's ruining this country, and I think that Democrats ought to be ashamed for how they're doing this because it's dividing this country and it's making this country weaker every day.
But that's not identity politics. You said a white nationalist is an American.
It is identity politics.
You said a white nationalist is an American, but a white nationalist is someone who believes horrific things. Do you really think that's someone who should be serving in the military?
Well, that's just a name that has been given. I mean,
it's not. It's a real definition. There's real concerns about extremism.
So if you're going to do away with most white people in this country out of the military, we got huge problems.
It's not. Huge problems. It's not people who are white. It's white nationalists
that have a few probably different beliefs.
Right?
That have different beliefs. Now, if racism is one of those beliefs, I'm totally against it. I am totally against racism.
But
there's a lot of people that believe in different things.
Is racist, Senator?
Well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. But if it's racism, I'm totally against it. I am totally against any type of race or any type of racism. I don't care what it's in.
Well, the next day, an ABC reporter asked Tuberville about his definition of a racist.
Can you explain why you continue to insist that white nationalists are American?
Listen, I'm totally against racism. And if the Democrats want to say that white nationalists are racist, I'm totally against that too.
But that's not a Democratic definition. The definition of a white nationalist is someone.
My definition.
It is the definition. The definition is that the belief that the white race is superior to all other races.
Totally out of the question.
So do you believe that white nationalists are racist?
Yes. If that's what a racist is, yes. Thank you.
But that is the definition.
Well, that, of course, came after a number of Republicans lit his ass up.
You know, white supremacy is simply unacceptable in the military and in our whole country.
But do you agree that white nationalists are racist?
If you're a white nationalist, absolutely.
Well, Tuberville said that Chuck Schumer and them Democrats on January 6th, they were just sitting there calling all different people racist, and they were just throwing that stuff around. They were calling them racist. Do y'all recall this on January 6th? So I'm going to go to my iPad in a second, y'all. Remember the white boy who was walking around with the Confederate flag? So explain to me how that ain't racist. So he was complaining about Democrats yelling racism. Well, if I see a fool walk around with a Confederate flag, I'm probably going to call him a racist. Folks, let's be real clear. The Republican Party knows full well that the racist who are white nationalists votes for them. They know this. That's why they're appealing to them. And that's why Senator Chuck Schumer, Democratic Majority Leader, blasted Tuberville on the floor of the Senate.
Last night, given another chance to clear the air, he suggested that no, white nationalists aren't inherently racist, that yes, white nationalism is American, and that the definition of white nationalism is a matter of opinion. It's hard to believe that the senator from Alabama has to be corrected again. The senator from Alabama is wrong, wrong, wrong. The definition of white nationalism is not a matter of opinion. White nationalism, the ideology that one race is inherently superior to others, that people of color should be segregated, subjected, and relegated to second-class citizenship, is racist. down to its rotten core. And for the senator from Alabama to obscure the racist nature of white nationalism is indeed very, very dangerous. His words have power and carry weight with the fringe of his constituency, just the fringe. But if that fringe listens to him, excuse and defend white nationalism, he is fanning the flames of bigotry and intolerance. Last week, the gunman who killed 23 people in El Paso Walmart was sentenced to 90 life terms in prison. He was a self-described white nationalist. The man who murdered 10 people at the top supermarket in my home state of New York, in Buffalo, was a white nationalist. And if those examples aren't clear enough, let's not forget Charlottesville, where neo-fascists, alt-right radicals, and far-right militias paraded through the streets carrying torches and chanted, quote, "Jews will not replace us." Those were white nationalists. This isn't a joke. This is deadly serious stuff. And for a member of the United States Senate to speculate about what white nationalism means as if it's some benign little thought experiment is deeply and terribly disturbing. I urge my Republican colleagues to impress upon the senator from Alabama the destructive impact of his words and urge him to apologize.
Now, Tuberville has been blocking military promotions because he claims that they're paying for abortions, and they're not. And so then, oh, I'm super military. I'm the man. You never even served. You're a 68-year-old white man. You never even served. So stop it. Vote Vets dropped this ad specifically targeting this idiot.
Every day, crises pop up all around the world. Crises you may never hear about. And the world's greatest military is ever on alert, ready to defend us against any threat, with our best and brightest seated in positions of command. But what if they're not? For months, one lone senator, Tommy Tuberville, who never served in uniform himself, has held hostage hundreds of military assignments just to force his MAGA social agenda on women in the ranks, freezing all promotions for top military posts, to the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, leaving mission-critical positions to go vacant. Our enemies are watching, looking for any vulnerabilities to exploit. And MAGA Senator Tommy Tuberville is playing right into their hands, playing political games with our national security. And not one Republican in Congress will stand up to him and let our troops keep us safe.
Senator Tammy Duckworth, who lost several limbs in the military, she blasted this fool today in a committee hearing.
For the first time in over 100 years, we do not have a commandant of the Marine Corps. Someone who can have the full power and authority of a commandant. This is absolutely unacceptable. We have all of these officers and their families. My colleagues talk about and laud the family members for their service. We have family members who are being pulled out of schools, unable to start a new school term. We have spouses who cannot start a new job, who've lost their jobs. The entire military readiness is slowly grinding to a halt, and it is going to get worse every single day because Senator Tuberville has injected politics into this. And you know who gets hurt the most on this? Our lowest ranking. It is the youngest women in the military. It is the spouses of the youngest men in the military who have to ask for a pass from their sergeants to leave their duty station so that they can go take care of their health care needs. And what we are telling them, what Senator Tuberville is telling them is, I don't care about you. Thank you for your service, but you cannot take care of your own health care or your spouse's health care. And to simply put this as this is a political thing and this is about the military providing abortion is absolutely categorically untrue because the military is not providing abortions in this instance. Now, let me also be clear that our men and women in uniform face so many hardships. They should be able to take care of themselves and their family members. Bottom line.
Well, you're dealing with an idiot, y'all. That's who he is. It's what he is. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
For decades, the tobacco industry has deliberately targeted Black communities and kids with marketing for menthol cigarettes. It's had a devastating impact on Black health. Tobacco use claims 45,000 Black lives every year. It's the #1 cause of preventable death. In the 1950s, less than 10% of Black smokers used menthol cigarettes. Today, it's 85%. Ban menthol cigarettes. Save lives.
When you talk about Blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause, to long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.